The silent graveyard below the ocean remembers everything. Winds erase footprints. Forests swallow ancient roads. Deserts bury kingdoms. But the sea keeps its memories sealed under pressure, so crushing that steel folds like paper. And tonight, one of those memories is rising again. For 80 years, a World War II supply ship lay hidden in the shadowed silence of the Mediterranean. A vessel lost in wartime chaos, vanished without a distress call, without survivors, without answers. Until now. Because 8 decades later, a modern deep-sea submersible has detected something. A metallic silhouette, deeper than the reach of sunlight, resting quietly, untouched by humans, since 1942. And what the divers would discover was far more than a shipwreck. It was a time capsule, a grave, a vault, a secret the ocean kept safe for a lifetime. This is the story of what they found. October 3rd, 1942, 22:10, off the coast of Sicily, the final night of the ship. Wind tore across the deck as black waves slammed the hull. Inside, soldiers moved crates with quiet urgency and fear. This wasn't any ordinary cargo run. The ship carried rare vehicles, experimental units meant for a secret armored brigade forming in North Africa, prototypes, field-modified machines, and confiscated civilian cars taken from abandoned European ports. Vehicles that never made it to land. Because at exactly 20:17, a single torpedo struck the ship amidships. The explosion echoed like thunder under the surface, sending a fireball skyward. Lights died. Metal screamed. Water flooded in faster than anyone could react. The captain never sent a final message. The radios went silent in an instant, crushed by the blast. The ship tilted, groaned, and in minutes slipped beneath the surface-walled hole, and with it went its story, its cargo, and every soul aboard. Present-day deep-sea survey vessel Aquila X. 80 years later, a research team wasn't looking for the ship. They were mapping underwater landslides along the Sicilian continental slope, routine geological work. But then, at 3:41 a.m., sonar detected an anomaly. A long, rigid shadow, too structured to be rock, too metallic to be natural, resting at a depth of 1,280 meters. The ocean floor here was unstable, steep, rippled, known for hiding things. The chief sonar operator stared at the monitor, heart racing. That's a ship. And a big one. The expedition changed course instantly. They prepped the ROV Eidolon, a titanium-framed deep-sea drone, fitted with 4,000 cameras and twin spotlights, capable of cutting through absolute darkness. At 4:12, Eidolon descended. Descent into blackness. The Mediterranean is deceptive. On the surface, blue, sunlit.com. Below 200 meters, darkness. Below 1,000 meters, a world shaped entirely by pressure 1,000 tons per square meter. Life here moves slowly. Sound travels strangely. Colors disappear. Dolan past a drifting umbrella-shaped jellyfish, glowing faint purple pelagia, Noctiluca. Its tentacles rippled like floating neon threads. At 1,100 meters, the drone's cameras captured long, thin fish weaving through beams of light, creatures with translucent bodies and silver mirror eyes adapted to eternal night. Then finally, the seafloor came into view. The ship appeared. First sight of the lost ghost, the wreck emerged from the darkness like a sunken cathedral. Hull intact, though split in the middle. Bow section angled upward, stern buried deeper in sediment. For 80 years, the ship had slept undisturbed. No treasure hunters, no fishing nets, no anchors. It lay exactly as it fell, leaning slightly, like a ghost frozen in the moment of its death. Eidolon hovered closer, illuminating the rust-covered nameplate. 3 letters were barely visible under a coat of marine growth. ARC. The rest was gone. But it was enough. Historically, only one missing ship in that region began with those letters. A British supply vessel, HMS Arcadia Runner. Lost October 3rd, 1942. Declared missing, presumed sunk, with no confirmed location. Until now. The silent deck, as the ROV glided along the deck, the team fell silent. There, still bolted to the rusting metal frame, was a row of vehicles, completely intact. an entire forgotten World War II motor pool, frozen in time. The cameras captured a rare AEC Matador military truck, a streamlined 1939. Alfa Romeo 6C confiscated from Italy, a prototype armored scout car with unusual turret modifications. Several civilian motorbikes lined with seaworm colonies, crates stamped with faded markings. Property of War Office. The ocean had preserved them like a museum curator. But something was off. One of the vehicles, a compact military utility car, was crushed inward, as if something giant had folded the steel. Not explosion damage, not rust, pressure, or impact. A curved dent pattern, smooth and unnatural, like the mark of something enormous. The deep-sea biologist on board whispered, "That's not geological. That's biological." The crew didn't respond. They only stared. Inside the cargo hold, the RAV maneuvered toward a gaping fracture in the hull. Its light swept across drifting silt and coils of sand eels spiraling like silver ribbons. Then the camera panned inside. Rows of crates, collapsed beams, suspended debris, and something else. Human boot perfectly preserved, leather intact, covered in sediment. Next to it lay a rusted dog tag. The ROV extended its robotic arm. Carefully, slowly, it brushed away the silt. A name emerged. J. Turner. The ship came back to life in that moment, not in motion, but in memory. A soldier who vanished without a trace, now found. But the discovery wasn't over, because deeper inside the cargo bay, the ROV spotted something that made every researcher lean forward. A massive iron gate twisted open from the inside. Why would a secure cargo gate be torn outward? What did the ship carry in that sealed section? The forbidden compartment. Every World War II ship had compartments. Most held fuel, ammunition, or supplies. But this one was different. This compartment had reinforced doors unusual for a supply ship, and inside, stacked in rows, were large cylindrical containers. 6 meters long, metal, half buried in sediment. The markings were barely legible. Classified, Special Transport Division. Another line underneath, "Do not open without clearance L." For the historians aboard the research vessel exchanged looks. L4. That's high-level experimental tech. This ship was carrying more than vehicles. The RWAV moved closer. One of the cylinders was cracked. A thick layer of mineral growth covered the seam, but inside, something moved. Not alive, not organic, just drifting. The cameras focused. And there it was. The fragment of a metallic sphere, smooth, polished, with interlocking plates. A prototype mine? Reconnaissance device? An experimental torpedo? No record existed, because the entire ship and all evidence was lost before reaching its destination. But one clue remained. A symbol etched faintly into the metal, a triangle enclosing a circle, marked with A.R.I. Division. Arcadia Research Initiative. It's a secret wartime engineering unit. Most of their documented work was destroyed after the war. What were they making, and why was it sealed in a transport ship? The lower deck, the chamber of silence. The ROV descended further. The ship grew darker and more surreal with every meter. At the bottom of the hold, a door hung loosely, hinges torn. Inside was a room larger than expected, a long, tunnel-like chamber. The walls were lined with rows of metallic racks, now empty. But each rack had clamps, like something cylindrical was once secured there and then. On the floor, half buried in sand, Dolan's camera captured something chilling. A curved metal fragment the size of a car door. Not part of the ship, not a vehicle, not a weapon. Engineered, but strange. It resembled the plating of a submarine, yet thinner, curved unnaturally, and with a ribbed internal structure, unlike any known World War II design. The oceanographer whispered, "Is this why the ship was sunk?" The attack theory historians later cross-checked German U-boat logs. The submarine responsibly, 617, recorded firing a torpedo at an unidentified ship, believed to be carrying military equipment, but there was a missing detail. Minutes before firing, the U-boat's hydrophone operator reported unusual metallic resonance near the target, a sound that didn't match any known Allied vessel. Was the submarine tracking the ship because of its cargo? Because of the strange devices on board? Because something on that ship was emitting sound? Or was the ship trying to hide what it carried? The records never say, but the wreck does. What the ocean keeps as Eidolon rose back to the surface, scientists knew the truth. This was no ordinary discovery. They had found a lost World War II ship, intact military vehicles, classified experimental technology, signs of unknown engineered material, evidence of something powerful enough to bend steel from inside the cargo hold. But the ocean wasn't finished revealing. Because as the ROV ascended, its rear camera captured something. A shadow. Long, slow, curved, moving behind the shipwreck. Then vanishing into darkness. A creature. A current distorted illusion? An artifact of low light? The footage remains debated, but experts agree on one thing. Whatever passed behind the wreck was larger than any known Mediterranean species. And it moved with purpose.
Message from 80 years ago, when HMS Arcadia Runner sank in 1942. The world was too distracted by war to notice, but the ocean noticed. The sea preserved its final cargo, its fallen crew, its unanswered questions, its unknown technology, its impossible impact marks, and its secrets. 80 years later, the ocean finally allowed humans a glimpse, just one. A reminder that beneath the surface lie entire chapters of history that never made it to books. Some man-made, some biological. Some still unexplained. And as long as humans continue to search the depths, the ocean will continue to whisper, "There is more."